Welcome, my friends, to a new episode of Frameworks. And in this episode, we're going to talk about Dogma ELT. Right, now let's first talk about this approach. And it is approach and a movement at the same time. Now, Dogma ELT has its roots in an article written by Scott Thornberry. In this article, Scott Thornberry talked about Dogma 95, which is a film movement in which everybody involved in filmmaking decided not to depend anymore on special effects. And this gave an idea to Scott Thornberry that why don't we teach English the same way? Why do we have to rely all the time on materials? Why do we have to rely on course books all the time? While sometimes these course books are not designed for this culture or for those specific students. And this was the beginning of what we call Dogma ELT, or Dogma in English language teaching. Now, in this episode, we're going to talk about Dogma ELT. Now, what are the three main concepts in Dogma ELT? Dogma is about teaching that is conversation driven. So it means that English lessons need to be full of conversations and communication. Dogma is about teaching that is material light. So teachers need to rely on minimum material in the classroom. And Dogma is about teaching that is based on emergent language, which means that I will build my lesson around what students give me in terms of language. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to go through a framework for delivering a Dogma lesson. So we're going to go through the stages together and talk about each stage and how we can adapt this stage in order to change the nature of the lesson. Right, good. Now, the first stage I'm going to talk about in my Dogma lesson is what I call topic selection. Now, the reason why the first stage is topic selection is because I want my students to choose the topic they want to talk about. And someone might say, Shadi, so you mean that you're going to let students choose the topic they want to talk about? And I say, yes. So someone might say, but hey, wait a minute, if students choose the topic they want to talk about, this means that you're unprepared. And the answer is yes. And that's the danger of running a Dogma lesson, is that you come to the classroom and you don't know what kind of topic your students might choose, which means that you need to be an experienced teacher to do this, because the students might come up with any topic and you need to be ready to handle this topic on the spot. Now, someone might say, and is there any way that we can avoid this? And I would say, yeah, there is a way, which is getting the students to choose the topic, okay, kind of 2 days before the lesson, which would give you some time to be ready with some ideas, maybe light material like a passage here or there, or a listening track or something, and then you come to the lesson with that. And that's doable. Like I remember, I ran a course based on Dogma before, and I used to create polling stations for my students, so they go and vote and choose the topics they want to talk about. And this gives me an opportunity to work with that topic before I meet my students. However, in this video, I didn't do this. I decided to go down the difficult route. So I decided to be surprised with my students' topic and build the whole lesson on the spot based on that. So let's see, my friends, what happened. Let's go. So, my friends, okay, now, what I want you to do, you're going to work in groups and you are going to choose a topic, right? Yeah. So first, I need every one of you to think on his or her own and try to come up with one topic that you would like to talk about. And write down 3 reasons why you want to talk about this topic. So we're going to choose how many topics?
One topic.
And how many reasons?
Three reasons.
Good. So on your own, try to think of something you want to talk about. No, one topic to talk about. Maybe any topic, you know. So, if you have finished, please raise your hands if you have a topic ready. Yeah, okay, wonderful. So, now my friends, you're going to work in groups. And of course, everyone in the group will have one topic. Now, in your groups, I want you to talk together and try to agree on. So you need to convince your friends. Well, you don't have to talk about your topic. If you think that another topic would be more interesting, then fair enough, right? Okay, so how many topics each group will choose? One, excellent. Okay, so let's have the four of you together. Can you move your seats so we have a kind of circle as you are? Just the two wonderful ladies. Yeah. Both of you, move your seats, face the two ladies here. Yeah. And let's have a group of five there. So you need to know, you need to move here.
Right decisions? Really? Yeah, C1. Right decisions? Didn't mean that to talk about
Me? No, stereotyping. Self-discipline is the lies of motivation speakers.
Islamophobia.
Okay. So it's C1 topic. It's C1.
Islamophobia is when you discriminate Muslims around the world.
Like people are afraid.
Yes.
Islam.
Islam. Islam. But I like it. Yes. It's really
Yeah, we're gonna talk more about
For food restaurants, you know.
Yeah. How they make money for like Islamophobia or choose one and hurry up. Okay, I don't want. No. To be honest, we just make wrong decisions all the time.
okay.
What do you want to talk about? You have to be self-disciplined. Yeah.
This is the right
Waiting for someone to motivate you. Same topic.
shows and movies
But we will wait until
combined.
We are waiting.
We need to agree on one. Good. Agreed on what topic? You agreed here?
Yes.
Okay, back to you, Shay, my friends. Back to you, Shay. Okay, so let's talk about group number one. What was your topic, the topic you chose?
Memory.
Memory. Yeah. Okay, good. So, let me put that here. And what about your group?
Islamophobia.
Uh-huh. Islamophobia.
Yeah. Deep.
C1 level.
Okay, what about your group?
Cinema movies.
Cinema.
Elementary level.
Right, my friends. Okay, so we've got here three main topics that were chosen by you. Now it is time for you to choose one of these three topics. So let's take some voting here, okay? And choose the topic that you feel you really want to talk about now. So how many people would like to talk about memory? You don't have to stick to your group, right? You're not a traitor. Right, let's go. Raise your hands if you want to talk about memory.
Isn't it your choice?
Oh my god. Okay, what about Islamophobia? How many? Let's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. How many people would like to talk about movies? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I guess yeah. I mean, let's just start with this one. And hey, don't worry, we might be talking about memory and movies later. Now, as you saw, my friends, my students chose Islamophobia, and again, that's not an easy topic, eh? So they left the other two topics and chose this one. And of course, people you see in this video, they have a high level of English. They're between like kind of B2 to C1, and they chose Islamophobia. Now it is my time to make sure that all my students have good ideas about Islamophobia, so that later they can talk about that topic. So again, that will take us to the second stage, which is preparation. So I started with topic selection, now it is preparation time. So let's see how I did this. Let's go. So for now, what I want you to do, my friends, you will be back again in your groups. But before we do this, I want you first to think about what comes to your mind when we say the word Islamophobia. At least I want you to generate 5 ideas that come to your mind just when you hear the word Islamophobia. What pops up in your mind? Okay, work on your own, don't mind. 5 ideas. Work on them. How many? 4 good. Okay, my friends. Right, don't worry. Don't worry if you haven't got the 5 ideas. 4 would be okay, 3 would be okay, no problem. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to get back in your groups. Now, every one of you has maybe different ideas or similar ideas. I want you to synthesize all these ideas into one list. But make sure that in this list, you have different ideas. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy?
Yes.
Okay, so same?
The list is unlimited ideas?
Yeah, I mean, as long as, you know, they're different, we're happy. Right, go on. Yes, you. And again, one more time. We'll be losing
Next time you will move. Huh? Next time you will move. I'm sorry. That would be fair enough.
We will not move again.
Okay, so questions for your ideas. How non-Muslims see Islam?
What?
How non-Muslims see Islam?
Okay.
Why they
Non-Muslim, yes.
yes, why they see it like that? The reasons. Who's happy for that? Or I want to say like, who created this image of Islam and
We
why?
can advance for this
Let's write
item.
them down. Let's write them down. What was the first one?
How non-Muslims see Islam
How non-Muslims
miscommunication
and why?
between Muslims
Islam
and
and
non-Muslims.
why?
And I would say also the person who delivers the information of Islam. Whether it is a terrorist,
created this image
someone who wants to overlap.
that they have, the image of Islam that they have, and why? What's in for them?
One thing is how can they deal with it? So I guess
And what's our rule? Our rule as Muslims? As Muslims to do support
what
Islam.
came to our mind.
What's it?
What's our rule as Muslims to support Islam?
Of the word or
Okay.
like the concept of the
I have another idea, which is the genocide that happens in Myanmar.
Yes.
It builds irrational fear. ISIS. Irrational.
That was in India, Kashmir, I guess. Yeah.
Is it true phobia or not?
Yeah.
Okay, and stereotyping the most happens against Muslims.
Yeah, and
From their point of view.
Yes, so all men have to have beards and all women have to wear tops.
Any other ideas?
I thought about America. Everything just
These are the ideas that go to hear the word Islam.
It's the same here. We said it's
Okay, back to a U-shape.
Why can't we see it? Wait. Like this. Yeah, Maryam makes it easy for you. Just do it.
Okay. Right, so now I'll go group by group. So I want to get only the first idea from here.
Okay, the definition of the word.
The definition of the word, what? Islamophobia.
Yes.
Okay, right. So, definition. Okay, so what else here?
One of the ideas was the genocide that happens in Myanmar and Kashmir.
Okay.
Genocide.
Genocide. Okay, here.
We said that it's something unfair to judge the religion itself by a single action. Unfair, yes.
Here.
Okay, Americanization.
Okay, Americanization. And here.
Using Islamophobia for political reasons.
Okay. So let's say using it for political reasons. Okay, right here.
We said it builds irrational fear and irrational fear.
Okay. Irrational fear. Okay, here.
Okay, ways to change this mindset. Ways to change this mindset.
Okay. How to change this mindset? Okay, here.
How some Muslims give the wrong idea about Islam.
Muslims giving wrong impressions. About Islam.
Yes.
Okay, here.
We need to raise the awareness of our religion or the Islam religion to solve that, to give them the right ideas about that.
Okay, so raising awareness. Do we still have more here? Do you have something to add? Yes?
Misconception of the idea.
Misconceptions. Okay, here.
One more is the hypocrisy when it comes to like freedom of speech and choice of religion, because some people say that we have to have freedom of speech and the choice of religion, but when it comes to Islam, it all changes.
Okay, right. So can you repeat that again? Yeah.
Hypocrisy when it comes to hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Discrimination and the American dream, like if you want to be someone, so this is who you are, but when it comes to be a Muslim, you can't be who you are.
Okay, so discrimination, lovely. Here, other things to add? No? Done? Yes? Anything more? Okay, good. So I've got a wonderful list here. Excellent, my friends. Now, as you saw, I've got a long list of ideas written on a board. And before I take my students now to the speaking task, let's make sure that they've got some good vocabulary, some useful language that they can use in this task. So this takes us to the third stage, which is useful language. So now, number 1, I have topic selection. Number 2, I have preparation. And number 3, useful language. Let's see how I did this. So now, what I want you to think of is what kind of language do you think we would need for this topic, Islamophobia? And I'm talking here about maybe vocabulary, expressions. So what I want you to do is to brainstorm and try to come up with a list of the vocabulary you might need for that topic. I want you to work alone. Write as many as you can. Right? Go on. Okay, my friends, now, don't worry if you haven't finished. I want you to work now in groups, same groups. And I want you to exchange the useful language you came up with. And again, listen to your friends, and you can maybe brainstorm more, okay, vocabulary that might be used in that topic. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back, 1, 2, 3, here. Same one again.
It's easier for you. Oh, or you can come here.
Think again.
No, leave it.
I would say that you need the floor. That's it.
Your dog there is very
Because I was
singular action. What is let's see, yes,
This is so deep. You're giving the wrong conception of religion. Yes. Because they're saying that's how they see it. That's how they see it. So from their point of view. Stereotyping?
Yeah, that's one too.
About discrimination,
media control.
And the bar on the discrimination, one resuscitation, and
Okay, so I thought about some, for example, sentences, like, for example, we need to mention that.
Okay. Back to the U-shape. Back to the U-shape. Okay. So let's take. Oh yeah, let me. Thank you, my friend. Okay, so let's take some words from you. So, what have you come up with? Anyone?
For example, we need to mention that stereotypes.
Oh, okay, stereotype. Okay, and you said?
We need to mention that.
Okay, so that's a kind of structure. Okay, so okay, why not? We need to mention that.
When you present your idea.
Yeah, and you said added?
Stereotypes.
I guess so, yeah. Okay, stereotypes. And here, one from your group?
Discrimination.
And don't worry, my friends, if there is something that is not clear, we're going to talk about it now, right? So here, one word?
Gender segregation.
Okay, gender. Segregation. Okay. And here?
Middle Ages.
Okay. Oh, the Middle Ages. Okay. Here?
Terrorism.
Okay, it's got one of this here. So now what I want you to do, my friends, is look at all these terms written on the board here. Okay, do we have anything that is not clear? in terms of meaning. Okay, discrimination. What do we mean by that?
Differentiation.
Yeah, differentiating between people.
Yeah.
Maybe this can be based on color,
Gender.
gender. Yeah, right. Okay.
The second word,
Race and gender. What do we male and female? You know, then segregation is kind of also the same meaning of discrimination.
the second one. The second one.
The second one, stereotypes, and this is. Who can explain it to the gentleman?
Fixed
Yes.
Think that one group, all of them have one characteristic.
Okay, right. It's just, you know, when you have a fixed idea in your mind about a group of people, and this is how you see them all the time, and you fail to see that people, you know, have individual differences and different ways of thinking. Right? Good. So what about
fanaticism?
fanaticism? What's that? Fanaticism.
To be fanatic about someone.
From
Yeah.
fantasy?
What does it mean when you're fanatic?
It's from the word fan in football or acting in art. Fan, to strongly uphold an idea
Yeah.
and to be radical about
In a good way or in an extreme way?
Extreme way.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not a positive word,
Yeah.
right? It's when you have very extreme ideas about something and you don't want to change your mind about it, you know. Okay.
When some people are simply crazy about something.
Mhm.
When some people are simply crazy about something.
Okay, good. Like, if we look at this list of ideas, do we have something that is not clear, like genocide? What is a genocide?
Killing people in a group.
Yeah, but is it you know, like
Large
mass killing
Yes,
or
mass
just yeah? It's
Mass
like,
kill.
it's like when you go somewhere and you kill a lot of people. That's a genocide, right? You're not only killing one or two, you kill many people. That's horrible, right? Okay, and then we have what does some people mean by Americanization? Americanization.
I think the effect of America in the world,
Yeah.
like how do they affect the other
Through
countries?
Like kind of changing
Yeah, and
the lifestyle into the American
Yeah, and
lifestyle,
way.
right? What's irrational fear? Irrational word?
No reason
Like,
for
doesn't have a reason to
Doesn't
have.
make any sense.
Yeah. So irrational means it doesn't make
Any sense.
sense, right? There is no rationale behind it. And we don't know why it happens. Right. And mindset means what?
The way you think, the way you think, your own thoughts.
Yeah, right, okay. Good, my friends, lovely. Now, my friends, my students have ideas, and they have a list of useful language on the board. Now it is time for them to do the speaking task. And of course, I came up with this speaking task on the spot. 3 questions for discussions. Let's see how I ran this part. Let's go. So, now, let's come to our task. And we have here 3 main discussion questions. Okay. Number 1, what are the reasons behind Islamophobia? Question number 2, how can we represent the right image of Islam? Number 3, what role should Islamic governments play? Now, before you talk about this, I want you to take your time, think about it, and take notes for yourself. Okay? So you have kind of 3 minutes to do that. Just take notes and be ready. Hello. Oh yes, of course. You can take pictures of the board if you want. Okay, my friends, right. Now, what I want you to do is to speak now together and try to answer and discuss these 3 questions, okay? So let's do that. Let's have first the 3 of you together, okay, right? And let's have the 3 of you 3 of you, and let's have the 4 of you. Okay, so this time you can move your seat please here. Let me help you. I'll bring you a seat.
The second thing, individual actions, because we have West, we have he has a terrorism in the world plays a special part of this lesson because every man that want to make it for example, just like I'm going to kill someone and I have my name here. So wow, Muslim kills 1,000 men once. Now everyone who has a beard, even here easily. You start saying something good. You start calling you shit.
Channels like that, stuff like that, like
stereotypes that the West that's a stereotype that we have here in Egypt about
How can you
ideas and skills that would religious person, they have easy to work, they have
I don't think there is much government.
Eventually, the person will change. And actually, this is what this is like we don't have Islamic Arabs.
But just to have the country
I think 2 years ago. This made throughout ages, and like also I would say media control as well. Yes, the right decision to make. They're always like teaching. What is and that sorry, I'm very nervous. It's like something we don't see now. Okay, so how can we the right image? I would say like to be how it is that I really how really are how Islam really is. Okay, so but the thing is, when you start talking to people about Islam, they start again judging you, and they're starting I would say they don't listen to you, even though they know that you are even they don't want to be convinced. And there is personal
you can't do this because
What?
Okay, let's go to the last one.
The government. I think those demonstrators need to get
I don't like that.
about the country and the person
Yeah, I don't think we should have a good example. From my point of view, okay, what actually they are, you can but inside her, she's the worst ever. But I don't think that we have it's not about flow. And the moral about you. So what we do, that's what you're thinking about. You're focusing on the appearance and your freedom. So we need to focus more on that's what sounds right. The way we focus on the appearance, blah blah blah. And look at them now. We are now concerts and movies, cinemas, everything is like
for me, as a Muslim, care about food.
yeah. The first thing, like, there is a man. He was an atheist, and then he became a Muslim.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
He mentioned something which is really, really good. Yes, I'm an atheist, so the first thing I want is something, don't 25 times.
Did you watch it?
Now, after my students finished speaking and talking together, it is time to listen to their ideas. And this will take us, my friends, to what we call content feedback. So let's see how I gave them feedback on this. Okay, righty then, you shape. As usual.
عايزة ايه يعني؟
Okay, my friends. So, now, what about the first question? What are the reasons behind Islamophobia? And I want you to tell me about some of the interesting ideas you heard from your friends about the reasons behind Islamophobia. So,
we said that it's a political reasons in the first place, and moreover, it's individual actions, and you can't judge the whole religion by individual actions.
And what do you mean exactly by political reasons?
Like what happened in the World Trade Tower, you know? And they said that
In the
it's an
11th of
inside
September,
job.
you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Right. Like so. Why do you focus on that action exactly?
Because they took, in some stories, they took advantage of this to invade Iraq.
Okay. So it's kind of behind the invasion of Iraq and the whole story.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of theories and rumors about this whole situation. Yeah, I know. Right. Okay. What other reasons have you heard from your friends about the reasons behind Islamophobia? One person here said that it's because of political agendas. And what about you? Are there other reasons?
They said they wanted to erase our culture and they want to erase like our religion.
Identity.
Identity. Yes.
But why would people think that way? Why would some people say we want to erase the identity of those
maybe
people?
they want to control the countries with their religion and with their like political stuff.
Like
so
the
for the sake of
erasure.
control.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of globalization thing.
Exactly.
And maybe it's something dangerous on them in the future.
How? I mean, why would Islam be dangerous for some?
Well, let's say they have some ideas that Islam is going wide through the world, and that's something.
It spreads, you mean?
Yes.
And do you want to put a stop to that?
Exactly.
Okay, well, maybe.
I think you can share a very important point, which is the behavior and attitude of the Muslim nowadays are very bad. So we became a very bad and fake picture of Islam.
So what you're trying to tell me that we should be looking at the mirror.
Yeah.
Like some Muslims are not acting
Exactly.
really well. Now, second question was, how can we represent the right image of Islam? I want you to tell me about the ideas you got from your friends on that. Yes?
Our own behavior. Our own behavior is going to reflect our Islam to people. For example, Muhammad Salah doesn't talk about Islam in the first place at all, but his behavior is reflecting the Islam itself.
Yeah, like he's decent.
Exactly.
And people love him because he's decent. And then oh yeah, we've got here. Oh yeah, he's a Muslim. You know, it's not the idea we have.
But he doesn't talk about Islam.
Well, I totally agree with that point. Yeah, I believe if you have lovely behaviour, then that's the best thing you can do for your religion, right? Lovely. Here,
We were talking about that Islam is like our treatment, how we deal with people. So there is a program in the radio. It's called the Deen Mu'amala. So I know that.
So it is, it's how you treat others.
Yes.
This is the best solution.
We can translate that into English or do something like that into English, and that would be helpful.
Oh, like programs that show
in English. Yes.
Okay, the good deeds of Muslims.
If we heard the stories of people who were like non-Muslims and they became Muslims because of simple situations from Muslim people, and they just treated them nicely. So they love the idea, oh, he's my neighbor and he's doing this to me. Why you're doing this? Because I'm Muslim. So they just become Muslims. Just the smallest thing.
Well, I mean, lovely. Last question here. What role should Islamic governments play? Right. So talking about governments here, I'm not talking about individuals.
Yes, this within the that's all in prison.
No, why? No, I mean, don't worry. If we don't have all of us to go to prison, I'm going to cut that part where we speak Arabic. I'm going to an unknown email create a new YouTube channel. With some backgrounds with gun machines and stuff like that. You don't need to worry. We don't have to go with you. Like, so, yeah. The voice. Yeah, right. What is your opinion?
No, I don't want to go to jail tonight.
Okay, so
and we want to convey that this kind of message that we don't we don't care about what you believe and where you're coming from. We just wanna live peacefully in this world, Just
so
like
what do you think that this is what the government should
convey in their speeches? Yes. So if everybody gotta convey this kind of message in his speech.
Now, my friends, after content feedback, now it is time to check my students' language. And I call this a stage language focus. Someone would say, Shadi, why don't you call it language feedback? And the reason why I call this a stage language focus is because sometimes you can take your students' errors and mistakes and turn them into activities, the kind of controlled practice tasks focusing on language features. You can do that. Or you can simply give them feedback on the mistakes that they have made. So you can extend this stage accordingly. So let's see what I did with the language focus stage. Let's go. And I heard some lovely expressions used by some of you, during the talk. So someone said to invade other countries. Now, to invade other countries, what does that mean, invade?
Come and take the other country by force and army.
So taking a country by force. By force and control
The government.
this country.
Does it work for conquer?
Yeah, like conquer, right? Yeah. Okay. Good. I love this also expression. Someone said, use this righteous people. What does it? Righteous people. Righteous as an adjective. What does it mean? So we say righteous people.
Good people.
The people who do all the good deeds and they are kind
The eligible ones. Yeah, like people who do good things, they're called righteous. And it's more of a religious word.
Yes.
Like when you say someone is righteous, it means that he does good things. Okay, right, lovely. So also someone used the adjective fanatic. We talked in the ideas about, fanaticism. So fanatic means what? When you say that someone is fanatic.
Crazy about something?
Yeah, like extreme about something, right? Okay. Like, and then also someone used a lovely verb, which is to abide by. What does that? So someone said to abide by God's orders, for example.
Stick to.
Stick to
follow.
Obey.
Abide by. Okay. And is it a kind of a formal or informal word?
Formal.
More of a formal, and it is used a lot in religious contexts, right? Good. So that's also a good verb, and it's a kind of by usually comes with that verb here, collocates with it, and then also I heard someone using this word, missionary. Okay, and missionary means what? That's a lovely word. A missionary.
person who travels to another country to spread a certain religion.
Yeah, but mainly it is related to which religion this word missionary is.
Christianity.
More than others. It's so much related to Christianity, right? So a missionary is someone who travels to a different country to spread Christianity and tell people about it, right? And then we have this lovely verb. And exaggerate.
More than necessary.
Yeah, more than necessary.
Yeah, and when you exaggerate something, what does that mean? Like when I say to someone, hey, don't exaggerate it.
Don't
Overdo it, you know.
And don't also sometimes say, don't make a big thing out of it.
Don't
Like if there is a minor problem, I say, come on man, don't exaggerate. Like don't make it a big thing. Okay? Don't, like, lovely. So these are nice things that I heard. There are also some things that I believe we need to work on. So let me just... So let me call this successful usage. I love that. And let me call this one less successful usage. Okay? Right. So here, someone said this. He said someone who just show. If there's something wrong with this, someone, yeah, right. So we need shows. Why?
Someone singular.
Yeah, it's subject verb
Agreement, yeah.
So someone who shows, right? Because it's related to someone here. Okay, lovely. I also noticed this one. Someone said the stereotypes that the West have. If there's something wrong with this. Okay. So the stereotypes that the West has. Excellent. Yeah. So it's not here. It's not have. It is. Why? Yeah, because that's subject verb agreement again. Because West is singular. Right. Good. Now, I also heard someone say she doesn't harm the Islam. If there's something wrong here. Yeah, it's unnecessary use of the definite article. Right. And my friend, why we shouldn't be using a definite article here?
Something
Yeah, it's kind of a proper noun, right? Can you give me some more examples of proper nouns?
Countries.
Yeah, names of countries also. Names of religions in general, right? Christianity, don't say the Christianity. Okay, right? Oh, I also heard someone say close coats. Is that the right collocation?
Dress code.
Usually people don't say close coats, they say
Yes,
dress
yeah.
codes, right? So yeah. So I heard someone saying irrational. Is that correct?
Irrational.
How should it be?
Irrational.
Irrational. Okay, so it is not irrational. It is irrational. So this one, this diphthong here is wrong, and it should be this one, irrational. Right, so that's something. I also heard someone saying, how do we say this one?
Abuse.
Abuse. Let's say as a noun.
Abuse.
Abuse. Right?
Yeah.
So as a noun, you pronounce it with as a verb with a Z sound. Right? Good. So mainly, we need to be careful with subject verb agreement, right? Also using articles with proper nouns. Okay, this is a collocation issue here, and just these two words for pronunciation. So now my friends, after going through the mistakes that I was able to pick from my students, let's go to the coming stage, which is follow-up. And in this stage, I'm going to come up with an activity that is a kind of a follow-up for the speaking task that my students, did together. And as long as they talked about Islamophobia, now it is time for them to write something about it. And someone might say, Shadi, why will you ask students to write? And I will say, my friends, because this writing will show me the areas of grammar where they have problems. And now I can take these areas and build up new dogma lessons based on them. So if I notice, for example, that they've got a lot of problems with subject-verb agreement, the next time when I talk about another topic that they have chosen, I'm going to focus on subject-verb agreement in the language focus stage. But this time, I can be at home as a teacher, designing my own activities that would be in harmony with the topic, and at the same time focusing on this grammatical feature. So the follow-up stage is important for that reason. Let's see how I ran this part. Let's go. What I want you to do, I want you to write a paragraph on how to stop Islamophobia. How to stop Islamophobia. I'm going to give you, let's say, 10 minutes to do that. Go on, you can start now. Now, someone might say, Shadi, is it possible that we can use reading passages or listening passages in Dogma? And I say, yeah, of course. And you can have two sources for that. You might use something from the internet, and you might use something from your students themselves. Someone might say, how? Simply, now imagine that you ran this polling station that we talked about before, and then your students chose a topic. Then what you will do is, you will take that topic, and let's imagine that the topic was maybe movies and films, stuff like that. And then you send a message to 2 or 3 of your students, and then you say, I want you to use your mobile phones and record yourselves talking about your favorite movies and why it is your favorite. And then check with your students whether they have no problems that these tracks can be used in the lesson for their friends to listen to and answer questions and stuff like that. And again, these listening tracks can be a good source of information. You can take these tracks and you can build, listening activities on them. You can actually take these tracks and use them in the preparation stage, and students will have ideas about the topic, and then again analyze these tracks in the useful language stage and take what is good from them, and also analyze what should be avoided. This word shouldn't be pronounced this way. This grammatical structure here is great, you know. Also, my friends, reading passages can be used. And as I said, and instead of asking your students to speak and record themselves, you can ask them to read, and you can get their permission to use the writing in the classroom. Or simply, if your students chose a topic like, for example, traveling abroad or something, you can go to the internet and bring an authentic text about traveling abroad, adapt it for the level of your students, and use it in the preparation stage. And then you might also get the language out of that text and use it in the useful language stage, and then move to the task, and here you are. So my friends, the Dogma Framework I recommend for you to use in this episode goes like this. It starts with topic selection, then preparation, which is more about ideas, then useful language, which is about vocabulary, grammar, functional language, you know, what your students will need to do the task, then the speaking task, and then after that, content feedback, then language focus, then follow up. I hope you enjoyed this framework today, my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.